This is the Rolex Explorer II. It has a reference number of 16570. The 16570 was produced from 1991 to 2007, which is a pretty long run. In 2007, it was then replaced by a larger Explorer II, the II 16570. And of course, this is a white dial version of the Explorer II. It's often referred to as the Polar for that reason. The Explorer II was first produced in 1971 with a reference 1655. It was kind of a strange watch. Movement inside early Explorer IIs didn't allow for the hour hand and the GMT hand to be set independent of each other like they are today. And because Explorer IIs have always had a fixed bezel, the watch didn't allow for tracking a second time zone originally. So what was the point of having a GMT hand? Well, caving, spelunking. Cavers needed a 24-hour reading to know whether it was 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., for example. In the darkness of a cave, you can't use daylight for reference. For what it's worth, and I don't think it's worth much, I would love to see Rolex go back to this original funky design someday. During its 16-year run, the 16570 saw many minor improvements, including end links changing from hollow to solid, lugs going from drilled to not drilled, if you consider that an improvement, the movement upgrading from the 3185 to the 3186. This example, being from 2007, has the solid end links, the undrilled lugs, and the 3186 movement. The 61570 has a 39mm case, making it just slightly smaller than a GMT Master or a Submariner. It's 12mm thick, and it's 47mm from lug to lug. That's the length of the watch. It also has a lug gap of 20mm. This watch is a great size for any wrist over 6 inches. And this might be my favorite watch in my collection right now. Why? Well, one of the reasons is that I think it's still a rather strange watch for Rolex to produce. A GMT watch with a fixed steel bezel, offered with a white dial. And because of this, it's a relatively rare watch. You don't see this one around as much as you do a Submariner or even a GMT Master, and I like that. Although, as with many steel Rolexes, this one's becoming more collectible. I'm also a sucker for white-dialed sport watches. I find them highly legible. And since Rolex doesn't use anti-reflective coating on their crystals, I think this watch is easier to read than my GMT Master II, for example. And I really enjoy that white-dial sport watches seem to lend themselves better to other straps. As I mentioned, this reference was replaced by a slightly larger Explorer II, the II 16570. Not only was the case size increased from 39 to 42 millimeters, but there are some clear stylistic differences. The orange GMT hand is an obvious change. The other three hands are also different as well, much beefier. The same goes for the hour markers and even the font on the bezel. In general, I think the newer Explorer II is bolder, visually. It also features a new Sturdier Bracelet with an Easy Link extension, which is really nice. But I'm very happy with my 39mm Explorer II. In fact, I prefer it to the new reference. Maybe it's the magic of knowing a watch is no longer produced, or maybe it's that this watch has joined me on so many adventures. Whatever the case, I highly recommend the 61570 to most collectors. You can still find them for even under $5,000. And I hope that this specific watch joins me on many more adventures in the decades to come.